Okay, welcome back to our last tutorial, our last video. I am going to be taking you through the process of kind of adding pages. What kind of format should you do? There are so many ways that you can do this. I'll just show you a couple of them. You've seen a history site. I want to show you a geography site, and then I will go through a syllabus with you that will help you identify some stages and different ways to format your Google Slides. So in the WCCS hub that you can access through the portal, in high school sites, I want to take you again to HISI, and we're going to visit a Year 9 geography. Actually, let's go to Year 7 geography. Year 7 geography, an example of a very junior style. We've got four units over the year, 1 unit per term almost. Within that unit, I have put the different sub-skills, so sub-units, so that would be each syllabus dot point. So landscapes and landforms, changing landscapes, case study, value, landscape management, and geomorphic hazard. Now these are also could be considered as inquiry questions. And I'll tell you what I mean by that a little bit later. So basically we've got our unit, we've got our sub-units, and within those we have the content, the PowerPoint and the worksheet, and in other cases you've got videos and things like that. Now here is the inquiry question, and that's how we've tried to create the topic from the inquiry question. With geography, there's a different level that you need to do. We've got a couple of interesting resources up here available, and this is for all of the students to access. Now, this is one of the first the sites that I made for HISI. I think I'd like to have some more, I guess, cohesion, things that are similar. Even here, we haven't even attached anything yet. So again, it is one of the first, and it's one of the freshest. The geography skills would have topics, and then it would have either YouTube playlists attached to those as links, just as a way to kind of put all the skills together, because there are, maybe 10 to 12 skill types, mapping skills, you've got climate graphs and all these other types of skills that like grid referencing and things like that we wanted to put in one place, and so eventually hopefully this will be a little bit more bulkier with those sorts of things. So with that said, I'm going to show you, I started off with a modern Year 11 modern in the last video, but I'm going to move on to business. So I want to show you, this is the subject outside of my area, still in my faculty, but I wanted to show you a couple of things about that. Before I do, I want to explain a little bit more about your Google Drive. The best way to get the most out of your Google site is to have a well-organized Google Drive. I don't know how you manage your Google Drive, but I try to make sure that I put things in the right files, in the right folders, so I can access them easily when I need to. So for my Year 10 history, I have all of the topics required, and within those I have subtopics, usually. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's a mess. However, this overview generally doesn't have too many subunits within it. So we've got causes, nature, and those sorts of things. So normally you'll find that there are some units within a unit. So for business, for example, I have started off with the home page. I've given an administration page, and I've linked that. I've also put in information booklets, lesson outlines, and completion table. Now I'm going to show you how I did that. I used one of the layouts, and I changed the order around. I just pushed this on the top. What you do is when you go to select it, it'll select the whole thing, so you can virtually move it around anywhere. But what I want to do is I want to move just this square, so I'll just double click it to select it, and then I move it and snap it onto the end, and that will make it just reversed in that way. So I'll pull it down here and let it snap onto that last one, and then you add your text. I got rid of the little subheading because I found that I didn't need it. So when I go to add something, the little plus button's quite handy. You go to add from Drive. I'm going to go and attach something that I used with my Year 11 class from admin, which is essentially the information booklet. Actually, I shouldn't say. Year 11 admin. I'm looking for admin. Admin, it should be an admin, and I'm looking for the booklet. Okay, there we go. Insert, and it's there. I'm going to get rid of this and have that there. Now normally you'd publish after you make any changes so that they're updated, but basically I haven't published it yet, so I don't need to. Now I've added a divider here because it's just breaks the text really well. You can move these, but I just found it just needed something, so I'm going to put that back up there, and hopefully that'll look good when I finish. I changed my theme into Vision, and changed it to a nice colour that I like, that I think suits white collar business studies. Okay, so back onto our home page, we have an administration section. Now I'm going to go to the syllabus for business studies. Scrolling down, we want to get to the preliminary course. What is required for the prelim course? And okay, here we go. We've got 3 topics. Perfect. Nature of business, business management, and business planning. Okay. I want to see the structure of these. I want to see how I should be setting them out. So we've got, all right, business, nature of business, role of businesses, type. Now you'll see these headings are fairly consistent in most syllabus documents. Business, growth, and decline. Okay. So I would be more than willing to use these as my headings and these as syllabus dot points. That kind of makes more sense, and in my head it makes more sense than me saying it. So let me explain what I mean by that. So I'm going to add nature of business. That's one of them. What's the next one? For the nature of business, business management, and business planning. All right. Now I will make those nice headings, not titles, because I've got unless I do want to make it a title. At the moment I do not need to. So I'm going to put that in the middle. This sort of stuff you can do later, but I may as well just do it now. All right, I'm in home. I want to add a page, and I'm going to call it Nature of Business. All right, and then I'm going to add another page, and I'm going to call it Business Management, I think, if that's the second one. Okay, now I will move those around, and the way that you do that, if you want to move pages and things like that, you drag, hold and drag, click, hold, drag. All right, back home, I want to link this text with the page for Nature of Business. I want to link business management, this heading. I'm going to link it, that's the chain there. I'm going to link it to the business management page. Okay, and when you do add the business planning page, you can add that, but for the purpose of this, I'm not going to go any further. All right, so nature of business. Now there are, where's my syllabus? Okay, outcomes here. Inside the role of business, we have 2 syllabus dot points inside the role of business. So they're going to be my headings. So I'm going to use this as a contents page. Okay, so role of business, that's going to be my heading. And then I'm going to have my syllabus dot points. The nature of business in producing goods and in profits. So I'm going to just copy and paste that. It doesn't come out formatted very well, but you will be able to make do. Now, the way that you do this is totally up to you guys, however you find it more, that it makes more sense. I'm going to call this 1.1 and I'm going to call this 1.2. Role of business, I'm calling that our number 1. And these are the syllabus dot points that are associated. I'm going to drag that and snap that again to underneath that heading so they become kind of one big box, and I can move that whenever I need to. So that's going to be my first bunch of syllabus dot points. And I'm going to add a page because I want to link this to another page that has resources for that syllabus dot point. So add a sub page in nature of business. I'm going to call it 1.1. Nature of business, producing goods and services. Okay, this becomes the heading of the next page, so don't get them wrong. I like to spread these out, and I will probably also change the header. And back on our main page, we're then going to highlight the words and link. Okay, now those pages are linked. Now I'm going to change this image to something a little bit more businessy. So I'm going to type up business strategy, maybe, and hopefully find a nice dark picture. Maybe I'll just put business. A nice dark picture that will make my text white. That's my goal. I like white text. And I'm going to go here. All right. Now this adjusting for readability is really, really helpful. It's another design aspect that Google has. If you have a light image on the background, it'll turn this black, the writing black. And you can't really have too much power there unless you turn it off. And that's the difference there. It just adjusts the background a little bit just to give it a little bit more vibrancy. All right, so nature of business. Now again, this is where you start putting all your content. Start putting content here. So if you want to use a layout, they're helpful. You can use one of these. What I've found helpful, the big ones should be PowerPoints. So if you wanted to list them, you can label them, I guess, if you wanted to. PowerPoint there. And then you can have your document 1, document 2. This could be textbook reader information, and this could be a worksheet. It really depends on what you plan on using it for. I would highly recommend keeping videos. Videos, I find I always want to remember. I always want to remember what videos I used, and I look back in history constantly trying to find it. And honestly, it's such a pain. So I'm going to add headings. Just wait for it to snap. Snap, lock it on there. There you go. You can add different things in there. So that would be a way that I would begin to start doing pages. Now, I'd really love to see you also using your syllabus to guide your Google site. It does take time. My Google sites all usually just started out with an admin page, and I just went as I go. I did it as I went. There's no point in going too far ahead of yourself when you're going to change your mind. And more often than not, by the end of the year, you're going to figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So That's one way that I've found that has been helpful. Again, use the Google Sites Hub and see what other people have used. In TAS, I'm pretty sure it's only engineering that's up. In science, I'm pretty sure we've got the science blog, Investigating Science. Here's a Google site that has also been excellent. This has been used very, very well. You've got the modules, all the modules that Investigating Science uses. You have the inquiry questions. This is probably straight from the syllabus. And you have awesome links to various, this is brilliant. You have the document here that the kids work on. You have news articles, brilliant. You have videos, and you have more case studies, more information. This is phenomenal. There's so much here for for students to investigate. I would highly recommend looking into and getting some inspiration from other people's sites. But that's just one example of reading a syllabus and understanding where to from here. So that's the end of the tutorial. I really hope that you guys feel equipped enough to start your own Google site. Please remember that it is hard, but the hard work will pay off, and I really hope that you will start to love Google Sites and that your kids will be able to benefit from it as much as you will in the future as well. All the best.